And so the outside world, if you let that just constantly come in, like all these people are saying all these things all the time, the attention's on me, and no matter what I do, like people are going to be judging me for it, and I got to worry about that, and that's going to drive the decisions I make.
When you say no one gives a fuck, how do you really mean that?
In the context of
the outside, not immediate circle.
I mean that in that if people already don't even know you, they don't have any psychological tie to you or your doings or what's going on in your life in general. And maybe the best way to explain this. I heard this ironically from Kobe Bryant, and this was a line I heard shortly before he died.
Rest in power.
Yeah, seriously.
Literally.
And he was talking about his rookie year. He did this great interview with this guy, Patrick Bet-David. It was like 4 or 5 months before his death. You ever seen that?
No.
It's amazing. And it was almost poetic, I guess, with how it all ended up tragically going down. But it was the most uncut, unedited, no bullshit Kobe Bryant I've ever seen. Like actually really digging into what goes on in here. And he was talking about his rookie year when the Lakers were in the playoffs and he was starting to get a big role on the team. And I think they were in the second round playing against the Utah Jazz, who had at the time Karl Malone and John Stockton. They ended up playing the Bulls that year. They played them 2 years in a row in the finals against Michael Jordan. But they went to overtime in maybe like game 6 or something like that when the Lakers got eliminated. And in overtime, Kobe had 4 or 5 air balls. I think it was the fourth quarter or overtime. He had 4 or 5 air balls. And so on a national stage, people were like, oh, and the rookie Kobe Bryant, the young kid out of high school, gonna have to take a lesson from this, air ball and left and right, and people were laughing. And so once he finished that game, like you, he looked at it very logically. And he said, okay, why did I airball? Like, why was that happening? I don't do that. When I'm practicing, I never fucking airball. And he realized that before this season, where he had played an 82-game season in the NBA and then, 10, 15 games in the playoffs, the longest season he had ever played was like 35 games in high school. So he's like, I don't have the legs, straight up. I don't have the legs to do this. So obviously, that's what I'm going to train, and I'm always going to have the legs from here on out. But he started training that night, and the reason he explained, this is my point, the reason he explained he was able to start training that night and not worry about it is because he said, no one cares. He goes, I'm somebody on a national stage at that point, actually like supposed to be an important athlete, playing in the playoffs, playing at the highest level. They cared about the air balls when I did it. They'll talk about it in the news stories in the morning. And 2 days from now, 3 days from now, because we're eliminated, we're not even in there anymore, no one's going to fucking talk about it. And so the outside world, if you let that just constantly come in, like all these people are saying all these things all the time, the attention's on me, and no matter what I do, like people are going to be judging me for it, and I got to worry about that, and that's going to drive the decisions I make, then you lose yourself and you lose your ability to focus on the things that matter and actually focus on what's going to make you better in the future. That's what I mean when I'm saying no one gives a fuck in the outside world.
Cool. That's how I view. I'm not even going to share it anymore because that's it.
All right. Well, great.
Just had to make sure that we got that out there because I feel like when people say that, and the reason why I wanted to, and I'll explain now why I asked that question to you, when people say, nobody gives a fuck, like they make it like super negative.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, no, like it's not about the negative. It's not about like, oh, fuck that guy and fuck that guy. No, man, You're still a human. You should still respect people. You should still listen to people, even on the outside world. Right? Yeah. I might listen really closely to the people that are close to me and like really hear them out.
Sure.
But like even on the outside world, I'll still listen to you. I still care. I still think your life matters.
Yes, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
I know you're not. That's very clear that you're saying that, actually.
The general
you're not
noise.
saying that, I should say. Yeah.
The general
noise is bullshit. Yeah. Right? General noise is actually society's anxiety pushing it onto you. That's what it is, bro.